How's it going, trainers, and welcome to another Pokemon Go PvP video. A little less than 24 hours ago, the Forrest Cup was announced. That is going to be May's Sylph Cup of the month, and it's a quite an interesting one. It kind of reminds me of a Jungle and Rainbow Cup of Season 1, but let's go ahead and dive right into it. Fire, Water, Grass, Bug, and Electric types all allowed in Gens 2, 3, 4, and 5, so no Kanto Pokemon, first 150-ish Pokemon, and no Alolan Pokemon. Also bans to Shadow Pokemon, Tropius, and Genesect. And of course, as always, all Pokemon need to be under CP 1500, so Great League eligible. And yeah, it looks to be a pretty fun one, and it's honestly a pretty easy meta. There's really only 6 or so different categories to keep track of, which makes for easy team compositions. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So this is a meta simplified that I created. Give it the benefit of the doubt that it's the beginning of the month, so some of this can change rather quickly and out of nowhere, and I could have missed some picks. But to me, the one thing in this meta that seems to be the staple is Mantine. Mantine is essentially the only flyer in the cup, and with both Bug and Grass being a huge part of the meta, it allows it to cover that. Plus, it's a water type, so coverage against fire types as well, all kind of dependent on the moveset. So Mantine is its own thing as a flyer. Going to the top left, you can see that it counters the Bug types and Crustle. A couple new faces in that, aren't there? Pretty cool. And then both Mantine and those Bug types counter the Grass types in the center, being Jumpluff, Ferrothorn, Cradily, Meganium, Cherim, Sunform, and Shiftry. So, also pretty interesting. Nice to not see Venusaur in there for once, even though I do love Venusaur, but nice change of pace. Those counter to the far right, the Mud Boys. They're always a part of every meta, it seems. Swampert, Stunfisk, Wishcash, and Quagsire. And those in turn counter both the Fires in Blaziken, Sunnycast form, and Typhlosion. And also the electric types of Lantern, Ampharos, Electivire, and Magnezone. So that's pretty much the core meta. There's a couple wildcard picks like Kingdra, Azumarill, and Escavalier that kind of just don't fit in a role. I would have liked for there to have been like a water category, but most of the waters are pretty much just the Mud Boys, and then Lantern, which fits more as an electric type role. So Azumarill for the first time ever is kind of a wild card and not really top tier in the meta. So yeah, let's go ahead and delve into each of these categories just a tad bit deeper with recommended movesets and such. So starting things off with the one flyer, Mantine. Recommended moveset due to pvpoke.com, link will be in the description. Wing Attack, Aerial Ace, and Bubble Beam. Has positive matchups against Bug types, Grass types, and Fire types. Negative matchups being Electric types and Rock types. So it is a Water Flying type, so of course it's going to take pretty massive damage to Electric types, but it has really excellent coverage, and Bubble Beam is a great debuffing move. So fantastic Pokemon. Man. Next up we have the Bug types. Positive matchups include Grass-type Pokemon. Negative matchups are stuff like Mantine, Fire types, and Rock types, and each of these kind of have their own like sub-category built in with them. First and most notably being Galvantula, who is an electric bug. You could almost say that it should be an electric-type Pokemon in that category, but it also serves the role as a bug type with its move Bug Buzz. So Volt Switch, Discharge, and Bug Buzz. Amazing moveset, allows it to serve both the role of a bug type and electric type, so 2 for 1 right there. Awesome. Crustle, Fury Cutter, X-Scissor, Rock Slide. It's one of the few Pokemon with rock type move access, so really cool, and it dishes it out incredibly. It allows it to gain coverage against both Mantine and Fire types, but kind of its rock subtyping makes it lose easier to water type Pokemon, unlike the other bug types. Next up we have Scolipede for pretty much the first time ever in the meta, with Poison Jab, X-Scissor, and Sludge Bomb. I forgot the B on Bomb. Awesome. Unique amongst bug types with its Poison type fast move, Scolipede kind of gains a heavy advantage against Grass type Pokemon because of the stab from Poison typing, and Fairy types as well, like Azumarill. So kind of a niche little area there, but still a cool Pokemon to see in a meta for once. And lastly, we have Heracross with counter, close combat, and Megahorn. Although it is part bug type, it's really mostly a fighter, and really there's only 3 fighters in this meta, so it fits more in the category with the bugs, but you would want it as a fighting type role. It allows wins against fellow fighter Blaziken, Kingdra, and several of the Mud Boys dependent on shields and IVs. But it does have a negative matchup against fellow bug type Pokemon, thanks to its fighting subtyping. Excuse me. Next up, we're going to go ahead and look at the grass types. Positive matchups include the Mud Boys, water types, and rock types. Negative matchups, of course, fire types, bug types, and Mantine. Mantine you're going to see a lot in this. The first of the many eligible really good grass types, in my opinion, is Ferrothorn, with Bullet Seed, Power Whip, and Flash Cannon. Its unique sub-steel typing allows it to fare better against bug-type Pokemon, unlike the other grass types, but it also opens up a major weakness to fire, seeing as both grass and steel type is weak to fire. Next up, we have Old Faithful in Meganium with Vine Whip, Frenzy Plant, and Earthquake. It's one of the few Pokemon that can really use Frenzy Plant in this meta outside of Sceptile and Torterra, and it's the only one that's viable, in my opinion. Consistent grass type damage, and it has the coverage move of Earthquake to help pick up wins against electric types, which are pretty big in this meta. Next up, we have Cherim here with Bullet Seed, Weather Ball, which is a fire type charge move, and Solar Beam. It's not quite as innocent as it looks. It's basically a usage of fire type Weather Ball allows it to decimate fellow grass types as well as bug types, unlike other grass types. So just kind of if you want a both grass and fire type in one, Cherim's pretty good for that. So pretty neat. Another 2-for-1 roll. Next up, we have Cradily with not Legacy anymore, Bullet Seed, Grass Knot, and Stone Edge. Not only can it consistently beat Mantine, as like it's the only grass type that could really do that, thanks to its Stone Edge charge move. It also beats water types and can also go toe-to-toe with fire types thanks to Stone Edge. So that's one of the cool things about Cradily amongst other grass types, is it picks up both fire types and Mantine. So pretty neat. Next we have Jumpluff with Bullet Seed, Aerial Ace, and Energy Ball. Now Jumpluff, I almost wanted to make a flying category because of both Jumpluff and Mantine being flying types, and it's really the only other Pokemon that would be able to be like rewarded that role, but it just doesn't quite do what you would want a flyer to do. It doesn't really do that great against grass types other than Aerial Ace. It's kind of better as a grass type, so it's kind of a wannabe Tropius, so it's still good. We'll have to test it out. Next up, we have the Mud Boys with positive matchups against fire and electric types and negative matchups against grass types. Most of these are pretty, we've covered them extensively. Swampert with Mudshot, Hydro Cannon, and Sludge Wave in this meta. Seeing as it already resists electric types, we could beat it just with Hydro Cannon to electric types, and Sludge Wave allows for coverage against grass types. So it is one of the OG Mud Boys, of course, and it crushes fire and electric types, just like you would want it to do. Next we have Wishcash. That's right, Daddy Cash, with Mudshot, Mud Bomb, and Blizzard. Pretty much walls fire and electric types thanks to its quick ground charge moves. And it also offers up coverage with Blizzard against grass types, so pretty nice. Next we have Stunfisk, which is the newest addition to the Mud Boys, with Thundershock, Mud Bomb, and Discharge. The prophecy has foretold of the chosen one amongst Mud Boys. The one and only Pancake Fish, that's what I like to call it, is here and manhandles Mantine, fire types, bug types, and electric types, so he's pretty good for coverage as a Mud Boy, but falls to fellow Mud Boys. So, might want two. I guess we'll see. And lastly, Quagsire. He's been around for a while, I feel like since Tempest Cup, the second or third cup in all of Sylph metas. Offers unique coverage amongst other Mud Boys and its quick rock type damage thanks to Stone Edge, kind of like Cradily amongst the grass types. And its charge moves basically allow it to do exactly what you want Mud Boys to do. Take care of electrics and take care of fire types. So Earthquake for the electrics, Stone Edge for the fire types. Really great. He is incredibly derpy looking. I love it. I love all of these. I think everyone here except for Swampert looks pretty derpy, so pretty great. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the fire types. So the fire types are pretty thin in this meta, but they actually do a lot. Seeing as we have both grass and bug types, they wall both of them. Negative matchups, though, do include Mud Poise, anything with water typings like Azumarill, and rock types like Cradily and Crustle. So, Blaziken, the first of the three, is more of a fighter with counter, Blaze Kick, and Blast Burn. Inflicts massive damage using counter, netting wins against bug and grass types, like a fire type should, as well as being the only fire type of the three to escape, to be able to beat Cradily. So, pretty awesome. I think it's really going to be one of the top 3 popular Pokemon in this meta, amongst, like, Mantine. Next we have Typhlosion with Shadow Claw, Blast Burn, and Solar Beam. Typhlosion has the advantage of having Shadow Claw as its fast move, which gives it the unique ability amongst fire types to beat Mantine. So it's the only of the 3, and it has a crazy fast energy generation thanks to Shadow Claw, so pretty nice. Lastly, we have Sunny Cast form with Ember, Fire Weather Ball, and Solar Beam. And truly, this is the one fire type in the meta that is basically just a fire type, with a fire type fast move that actually does decent damage and a really fast generating fire charge move. It's really, really good against grass and bug types. And of course, Solar Beam gives it coverage against water and Mud Boys, so awesome Pokemon. Next up, we have the electric types with positive matchups against Mantine, very positive matchup, fire types, and water types, and then negative matchups against the Mud Boys and ground types. Go ahead and start with Ampharos because he is awesome, or she, I'm not judging. Volt Switch, Thunder Punch, and Focus Blast. No longer the black sheep of its typing, Ampharos obliterates water types, fire types, and thanks Ferrothorn is a tasty snack thanks to that Focus Blast. And Thunder Punch does pretty well too. Volt Switch is great for energy generation, so give it a try. It's a really awesome Pokemon. Next up we have Lantern, and this time around we're going to be running Spark as its fast move with Thunderbolt and Hydro Pump, and the reasoning for that is purely energy generation. Water damage doesn't matter as much, so the Water Gun is kind of taking a back seat this time. It handles water types and fire types despite running its electric fast move, and it struggles really heavily against grass type Pokemon. Just doesn't really have a play against them. So, next up we have Electivire. I feel like this is the first time I've ever talked about Electivire. With Thundershock, Ice Punch, and Wild Charge, Ice Punch really awards it a really good coverage move against grass types, which should be really popular in this meta given how many viable options there are. And Wild Charge is a very heavy-hitting electric charge move, so should be pretty decent. I don't have one that fits in Great League yet, but I'll be looking into it. It's a pretty cool Pokemon. Next we have Magnezone with Spark, Wild Charge, and Flash Cannon, and I have a special place in my heart for this guy. I think I used it in Jungle Cup, and he was amazing. It serves its role as an electric type perfectly, and its steel subtyping allows it to handle both Mantine and Azumarill like with no problem at all, because they have literally no plays against it. The downside of its subtyping is that Magnezone becomes very weak to fire types, so yeah, downside is everything. Next up, we're going to go ahead and talk about the wild cards. Now, there's a lot of things that could be considered wild cards in this meta. I just chose the 3 that I feel like are going to have the heaviest impact. The first of which is, of course, Azumarill with Bubble, Ice Beam, and Play Rough. You can run Hydro Pump too, but I feel like Play Rough is better for coverage in this meta, because you're already doing water type damage with Bubble. With the lack of a true water type in this meta, Azumarill, for the very first time, finds itself on the outside of the meta looking in. Just remain wary of it still, because Azumarill can handle all the fire types in the meta, counter users, and its fellow wildcard pick, Kingdra. I'm going to save Kingdra for last. Let's go to Escavalier. Man, I don't know how to pronounce that. With counter, Aerial Ace, and Drill Run, it pretty much fits into that fighter role, but its Aerial Ace damage gives it a flyer type role, and Drill Run ground type damage, which is pretty rare in this meta, so it's pretty neat. Can fit a nice 6 spot on your team. It's the least far-fetched in these choices, given that it compares well to its counter-using kin, like Heracross and Blaziken. It absolutely creams the grass types, and even goes neck-to-neck with electric types, thanks to Drill Run. And lastly, Kingdra. This is the 3rd of the top 3 in this meta, in my opinion. With Dragon Breath, Outrage, and Okazuta, it looks poised to dominate the Forrest Cup meta. Wins include Mantine, Ampharos, and fire types, and Dragon Breath's insane damage output, paired with a truly wildcard charge move in Octazooka, allows for Kingdra to pretty much always have a fighting chance against this meta, even against grass types, because Dragon Breath is just insane. It's a really, really good Pokemon, and I think a staple in the meta. So that is it. A quick, pretty much over guide of the Forrest Cup meta. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.